In this video, we'll talk about Low Lifter. Low Lifter is designed to enhance your bass without the usual problems that come with EQ boosting, like distortion or muddiness. Low Lifter enhances bass perception on devices with limited low-frequency response by adding harmonics to frequencies under 120 Hz. This makes bass sounds more audible without actually boosting the bass. It's especially effective for playback on devices that struggle with deep sub-frequencies, like laptops. Low Lifter leverages a psychoacoustic principle, adding harmonics that complement and point to the fundamental bass frequencies. More on how that works later, making them sound more prominent even when they're not actually there. How is that possible? Let's start with a visual example, the Konija square. What do you see? A black square over orange circles. But none of that is true. There are no squares or circles in this image. Your brain assumes they're there and invents edges and contours to make these shapes appear in your mind. The brain can invent fundamental frequencies when given cues that those frequencies should exist. Usually, the lowest bass frequency in a sound is accompanied by harmonics, frequencies that are multiple of the fundamental frequency, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, etc. These combine to create the complex tone you hear, with the fundamental frequency being the lowest in the series. Also, these harmonics typically decline in level with each ascending harmonic. You can even remove the fundamental entirely and just listen to the harmonics. Most people will still perceive the pitch of the fundamental frequency. The harmonics point to a fundamental below them, so you hear it. The same way you saw the edges in the Kineser illusion, because your brain expects it. This phenomenon works to invent missing bass, enhance weak bass, or boost present bass. Note, Low Lifter can also boost actual low-end energy, not just add harmonics, especially when processing full mixes. Use the low cut knob to compensate for the energy increase while maintaining low-end loudness perception. Now that we know how Low Lifter works, let's move on to the controls and how to use them. In the harmonics section, all controls affect how the low frequencies are manipulated or distorted. Pre-gain boosts the lower frequencies before shaping, similar to a basic low-shelf EQ. Turn on Look Ahead for a soft limiter to keep the boosted frequencies below 0 decibels, maximizing the lower band with better harmonic control. When off, a hard limiter with 0 attack is used, potentially introducing extra distortion. Multi-band will split the wave shaping process into more than one band, leading to cleaner results overall at the expense of extra CPU. Slope is a low-pass filter for all generated harmonics, adjustable from -60 to 0 decibels per octave. The slope is essential for mimicking the natural behavior of harmonic frequencies. As each successive harmonic becomes quieter, the downward slope helps your brain perceive a cohesive bass note rather than separate tones. You can also invert the low band's polarity, which can increase the actual loudness of low frequencies. This is particularly useful if phase cancellation is happening between the high and low bands. Flip the switch and check if you hear more bass. The diffusion panel controls the built-in all-pass diffuser network. These controls may be familiar from reverb plugins and, as you expected, can smooth out the response of the generated harmonics. Depth determines the phase rotation depth. And mix allows blending between unaffected and diffused signals. The crossover panel controls splitting the input signal into the low band and high band. The low and high gain controls allow leveling the band output after shaping. And cutoff sets the crossover frequency, which isolates the low band for later enhancement. These controls are all tweakable via the mouse on the analysis display too. Finally, the mix panel has a high-pass filter to manage any added low-frequency power and an overall dry-wet mix control to blend the input signal with the enhanced audio after shaping. Flip this switch to bypass the plugin completely. .808-style kicks are bass-heavy but lack higher bass and lower mid-frequencies needed for them to be audible on smaller devices like phones and laptops. Lowlifter can help with that. Lowlifter can also improve the low-end perception on drum sounds, especially electronically generated kick drums are often inaudible on devices with smaller speakers. So if you chuck it on your drum bus, you can generate just enough activity in the low-mid region for those transients to be picked up on those. And that is all you really need to know about Lowlifter to get started using it. We hope this video helps you enhance your low end in ways that you hadn't thought of before. Don't forget to check the video description and grab the demo projects we made for this video. Happy music making!